Hello and welcome to Fridays with Foster. As always, my name is Foster and I'm your host today. Let's first start with the drink. Now, this is called an espresso con panna, which is espresso with whipped cream. I'm sure I've had this at some time in my life, but never with the intention of truly tasting and explaining. So here we go. I mean, come on, it has to be good. It's espresso and whipped cream. It tastes so good when it goes down your throat. That's like interesting because you get the whipped creams really cold on the top. I think it'll be nice to continue drinking this and taste it after it actually mixes. So, what are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to discuss the Ikea effect. Well, let's start with the Ikea effect in definition. I'm assuming the majority of you have been to Ikea. If not, you have heard of Ikea, and at the very least, you have somebody who you know who has bought something from Ikea. If you've put it together yourself, that makes this a lot easier. If you've put it together for somebody else, you will still understand the reference. So, Ikea flat pack, right? So Ikea made their real stamp and growth on the world of furniture by stopping the biggest cost eater of the industry, which is shipping air. You get a chair, you have the chair, you've got to ship the chair, and then the air that goes in between it when you put it in a box or something like that. So flat pack shipping is what they came up with, which is great. So go to Ikea, we buy whatever we're going to buy. For me, my most recent was probably when my daughter was 13, I bought her a bunk bed. So buy her a bunk bed, you take the lift the very heavy flat pack boxes up to her room, and we put this beautiful, but if you do it right and take your time, it's very sturdy especially for a bunk bed. I mean, it's got to be sturdy, so it's a very sturdy piece of furniture. And to this day, 3 homes ago, as far as I know, it's still in that bedroom. So the Ikea effect is when you create and build something and can't figure out a way to remove it without completely taking it apart. And to be honest with you, most of us are not smart enough or maybe not organized enough to actually save the instructions. And at what point can you do a partial disassemble, right? You really can't. You just kind of figure out how you put it in and then go from there. Or how you put it together and then try and reverse it to a certain point, or just figure out what you can kind of pop out and get it out of the room, if that. So what's this have to do with business? Well, in business, we bring things into the business. We create things in the business. We'll bring a person or a process or something into the business, ergo the flat pack, and then we build departments, company culture, systems and processes around what was a manageable piece of furniture, unassembled furniture. And then all of a sudden we realize that now we cannot remove this from the business, even if it's stifling the growth of the business. We cannot upgrade it or change it without actually taking it apart and moving it out. So for some businesses, this is a person. For some people that are involved in family business, this is a family member. You've brought into the business. Maybe you didn't have a position, which if you've done this before, it's happened, but I do not suggest you follow through with this method of, hey, Billy needs a job, and so we're going to put him in the company. Where? We'll find a place. There may not be a need, right? Even if you look at the very least, look at future growth in a department and say, if it looks like he can fit here, he fits with the culture, he maybe has the skill set to learn or the ambition to learn, he can go here. For the most part, though, I still would rather have family members work outside of the business for at least a year, if not more, for somebody who is not involved with a family. But nonetheless, so Billy gets in there and then all of a sudden does pretty well, or he seems to do well, rises up the ranks, and then he's in charge of a department. Well, 15 years down the road now, we realize that what was really happening is this was not his passion. This is not something he truly wanted to develop. He did a decent job with it, but there were shortcuts. There were things that he really didn't want to learn. He didn't want to go and continue his, the Kaizen principle of continuous lifelong learning and go get certifications or learn how to be a better leader based on what he needed. So the real question then is, how do we change the situation? Well, he is now too big in the business to simply pull out. So we have to be very careful then of how he needs to be either disassembled. Maybe he doesn't want to be there anymore, right? And again, this is a person as opposed to a process, so it's much more challenging. But in this case, maybe it's having an honest conversation. Maybe he no longer wants to be in that responsibility level in that role anymore. Maybe there's something else that we could shift within the business, maybe a different part of the room, to continue on with the metaphor. But sometimes with these situations, especially with processes and whatnot, they just need to be completely disassembled and start over. So just be very careful the next time you bring a flat pack solution into your business, and make sure you keep your eye on it, because if you build it and all of a sudden it prevents you from doing other things in your business, you're going to have to disassemble it or sell it with the house. So thank you very much for your time. We'll give this one more shot before I go. That's good. I really, unfortunately, like the sweetness of the whipped cream. I'm your host, Foster, and remember, life is too short to drink bad coffee. Have a great day.